Okay, let's go.
What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we have my first house flip ever. This is the exterior, and we had to do a ton of work to bring this up to a sellable condition. And just to be clear, I actually did not buy this house to flip. I bought this house in 2017 and lived here for many years. I rented it out as an Airbnb for several years and then moved into it. Unfortunately, my time with this house has run its course and I have to sell. But as you can see, I did a ton of work. I fixed up all the trim around all the doors and windows. Every single piece of trim was replaced and foamed and then sealed off with that Protecto wrap to seal out water. Here's the new trim installed on the front of the house. It's looking super, super good. And finally, ready for our first coat of primer. As you can see, it was October and we had some beautiful fall colors in the background. And here is the house, all done and finished, painted, brand new trim, and some new lighting. Love that color, a nice warm white throughout. And now you can see the inside of the house. This is what we started with. Look at that just god-awful backsplash. I mean, these guys really didn't care, really didn't try. But yeah, you know, we don't have a huge budget for this. We really don't. We have a very small budget. So, you know, we're going to scrape that popcorn. We're going to try to keep as many of these countertops as we can. Quick look at the bathroom. As you can see, that luxury vinyl plank flooring is not so luxury anymore. It was just popping off on its own. I actually caulked this many years ago because they left this huge gap between the backsplash and the counter. And it's just such a big gap that the caulk eventually failed. So here is the main living room area and these shitty stairs that have this old brown carpet. Hey, at least it's not as old as the old carpet before that we found in the back of these closets that was dark 70s brown. This house was built in the 70s. It's been really a rental until I bought it. For a long time. This will be my first flip, but I'm treating it as a flip house. It's been a rental for a long time and it's just not doing well enough to keep it as a rental. So I'm up here. We're gonna redo the floors in the kitchen. I'm about to scrape all this popcorn off the ceiling. See all that texture up there? Yeah, that's no good. Kind of looks like just old and ratty and I don't know. Looks kind of like shit. So we're gonna get all that cleaned up. Gonna get all these walls painted. Gonna tile this whole kitchen. Do a new backsplash. Check out this backsplash. I mean, it's horrible. Look at this thing. Man. Yeah. I don't know. But that's why I'm here. Right? Kind of demoed some of it. But yeah, we're gonna scrape all this popcorn and then I'm gonna remud it, sand it, paint it. I'm gonna repaint and finish all these cabinets. It's probably kind of hard to tell, but they're pretty worn. Let's see if I can find a good one. Yeah, you can just see a lot of like marks and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna repaint all this cabinetry, do a white subway tile backsplash here. Gonna replace this and this, going stainless. Yeah, and then here I'll just take you into my like little staging area. You can just see, look at the ceiling. I mean, this is in terrible condition. So yeah, it's gonna look really nice. So this room is my staging area. I did brand new floors in here in like May, I wanna say. And there was popcorn on the ceilings in here, and I scraped all the popcorn off, did new lighting, painted, and then did new floors. But right now I got all my tile and materials over here. I got a little workstation, you know, just like, a place to stash some tools and some materials. So as we come into here out of this room, we got the laundry room. We got brand new lights for up there. I gotta patch that piece of drywall where we had a copper pipe leaking right there. So we had to get a plumber out and fix that, scrape all this, patch all that. And then actually I'm gonna retile. Well, not retile because it's actually shitty laminate, but I'm gonna tile this space. And then right across the hallway here, we got the bathroom. And we're gonna do all new lighting in here, paint this cabinet, and I'm gonna tile this flooring as well. And we're gonna do a new toilet over here. So yeah, honestly, pretty like basic flip. Like, I mean, I've owned this house for forever, so I've been like slowly putting, time and money and work and materials into this house over the past 5-6 years, really since COVID. But now it's time to like really gut it. And before I leave, we're gonna, I'll show you the upstairs. So we're actually gonna keep this carpet staircase here, just because I found that honestly, if you do the LVP staircases, they are slippery and dogs and people can fall on the stairs easier. So we got this little hallway here. Here's this little bathroom. I mean, this thing is tiny, super tiny. There, it's just big enough for one toilet and one sink. But we're gonna retile this, and then we're gonna see where we're at with time, budget, and materials, because this carpet is kind of shitty, but it's not that bad. And but it would look really nice to LVP this room. And we'll probably actually put some new baseboards in here as well, baseboard heaters. So yeah, it's this house was built in 1977. The last time it was remodeled was, 1996, I believe. And it's just been patched together at a bunch of different times. And once again, I scraped the popcorn in this room. I redid the lighting, but I think we're gonna redo all this carpet. And this was some dated, old, 70s yellow. That's how I describe this room. I actually probably have some pictures and videos of it somewhere. But I did a really cool little reel on Instagram of me remodeling, I'll say, that room. And then I also did this one probably in April, before I did those LVP floors downstairs in that first bedroom. So yeah, it's not a huge house, which is a great thing for me, being it's my first time flipping. I don't want to take on too much square footage, it just gets too expensive. At least with where this house is at right now, I can pretty much bootstrap all of the renovation costs myself, which dude, if you're doing it all yourself, you're on a tight budget, makes a ton of sense, tile can be an expensive endeavor, but realistically, tile, in my opinion, is actually kind of cheap. It's the labor. Tile is way more labor than LVP or even hardwood, to be honest, but the materials themselves are actually super cheap. So if you can do the labor in tile, honestly, you can save a ton of money. The tiles that we got for this place were 89 cents a square foot at Home Depot. I mean, we are going to be able to tile the entire, both bathrooms, the laundry room, and the kitchen for $300 in tile. Now, there's other costs to that, but I'm just using that to LVP those spaces. It would be thousands. Now, if I were to tile it and calculate my time, it's still going to cost thousands. It's probably going to honestly be more expensive than LVP. LVP is going to actually cost you less because you're going to spend less on the installation. So, but once again, we're doing it all ourselves, and Tile has the resale value, it has the durability, it has the waterproofing. You know, we're in the mountains here. We're in the mountains in Colorado. We're at 8,500 feet above sea level. So, you know, giving them some waterproofing and some durability for the next buyer is great. And I think it will add resale value. It'll look really like classy and just like clean and crisp in here, you know, with like all these like scuffed paint marks and all the like, you know, little just details that aren't perfect. It just feels a little like dirty in here. It just feels a little like dingy. So yeah, stay tuned. You know, I'll be scraping this and be giving you guys some updates. And in case you're a little bit confused about the origins of the YouTube channel, it's really that, you know, I tried my hand at real estate investing and I failed. And I also, you know, tried to make content to bring in sales and marketing for my spiritual healing business, my Reiki energy healing business. And I also failed at that. So what can I do? Construction, right? Which has led me to this idea of flipping, which I think is a great idea for me to do. It's going to generate a ton of income, leverage a bunch of skills, force me to learn some new skills, really force me to network. I'm super excited about this opportunity and where it can grow from here. But like, you know, something that I do, something that I love doing in construction. And I was taught this by a concrete guy in Ned. His name's AJ. Shout out AJ. I don't know his last name actually, but he's a Reiki master. So he teaches spiritual energy healing for men and he does concrete. He's an older gentleman. And he told me that he will embed the sacred symbols of Reiki. He will like actually like draw the Reiki sacred symbols in foundations that he's doing for houses that he builds. So he's programming the foundation of these people's homes to have like these sacred healing energies to them. And I just thought that was like a really beautiful idea. And so now whenever I paint a house, I literally in the walls, I draw the Reiki symbols, or when I'm doing tile, I will actually like draw the Reiki symbols into the mortar and embed the like healing energy of the sacred symbols into the space that I'm working on for the clients and customers, or, you know, potential buyers or whatever. So, you know, it's just a really cool way, because it's like, I'm really passionate about energy healing, and like there was a time when I wanted to make money on it, and now, you know, I just want to do it for passion. I have no desire to actually make money off of my Reiki like business, but I genuinely want it to serve and help people. And so it's a cool way to bridge the gap between like real estate, construction, and energy healing. And I know that like those don't necessarily typically fit together, right? But like realistically, dude, like everyone needs a house. Homelessness is one of the biggest like problems of our like society, like as far as social relationships go and like social welfare goes, like homelessness is a huge problem. So like home building is super like important for that. And even in the Bible, right? Like when there's all those homeless people, I think it was like Peter or Paul, you know, they started making tents for homeless people. And, you know, they actually created a business out of like serving this like homeless population. And I'm not trying to suggest that like I'm nearly that virtuous or like have that much integrity, but I do think that like there is room for spiritual healing and spiritually inclined people with loving healing frequencies to make money in construction and stuff, so that like we can do other cool things. So I just see it as a tool for freedom, and I see it as a way to create a lot of value and serve people and really help people, right? Because most people, they don't have the skills and resources to turn this into what they really want to live in. And because of that, like, I can come in and provide that value for them. And it's an exchange. It's sacred. You know, there's nothing. I used to honestly look down upon trade work. I don't know, for some reason. I think it was just the way that, you know, I grew up. I was always told that, you know, if I didn't get good grades or if I fucked around, I wouldn't, you know, I would end up being a construction worker or a janitor or whatever. And it's like when I first got into this, I felt like I was a failure and they were right. And that, you know, I should have just listened, and that maybe I am a dumbass. Maybe I'm not that smart. Maybe I'm not that capable, you know, and I've come to realize that it's really amazing what I actually can do for people and as far as these trades go. And I see how much happiness it brings to their people's lives, and how much relief they get. And it's you know, not no one wants to live in this if you could live in that, you know. And I don't know. I'm in a new place in my life where I just really want to give more and serve more and show up for the community more. And I think that this is a good way to do it. I think that people really need these services, and more people are not willing to do it. So huge opportunity, and honestly, it can be a spiritual endeavor because it fuels my ability to show up and to provide for my family. So I don't know, weird rant, but there it is. So we got all of the popcorn scraped off the ceiling and got all the floors cleaned up. We're gonna be ready to mud this ceiling, and I'm just gonna kind of patch up little scuffs on the wall here and there. So we're gonna get all these walls looking nice and pretty, and then we're gonna paint everything. And then finally, once we get everything painted, including the kitchen cabinets, we're gonna start on the flooring in the bathroom. So, I'm just gonna take you around here so you can get a little look. I pulled all of the lights off of the walls. Those are all gonna be replaced. And I did that so I could scrape the popcorn behind the actual fixture. And then this one I actually left. This is the only one I didn't do, because this one is gonna move over into the kitchen because we like this design. So, this is the worst one. I think I showed this earlier where that pipe broke and we had to get that fixed. So, I'm gonna have to patch up some drywall, but overall looking good. Happy with the progress on a Saturday. Covered in drywall dust, and we're one step closer to getting this thing on the market here. So, I'm excited. right, I just want to give you a quick little update where we're at on the project. I've been scraping, sanding, and mudding this ceiling for what feels like days. It's, you know, it's not quite a level 5 finish. It's a true level 4. It's not perfect, but it is so flat and beautiful compared to what that ugly popcorn ceiling was. I have all the floors covered, obviously, the pellet stove, the windows, the doors. So we are finally ready for paint, and I'm super excited because paint is going to be a big transition in this project from all this dust and drywall, and it's going to start to come together from here. So I got all the cabinets demoed right here. I got the kitchen masked off. I got the backsplash area mudded, and there was a bunch of holes, some damage from that old shitty backsplash. And so I got all that patched up, mudded, ready for primer. I got all those cabinets demoed. Those are going to be painted. These are coming off today as well. This is going to be brand new. It's going to match that fridge over there. Got this demoed yesterday. Going to get this installed actually Monday. And I demoed this. This was all damaged here. It was all destroyed. All the wood had been just fucked up. But I got these ceilings done. Got some texture, some patching. Those are behind the dryer, so I'm not super worried about that being perfect. Yeah, we are ready for paint. And yeah, once everything is painted, I'm going to primer all this. Well, it's going to be primered. Sorry. Once I'm finished with paint, this is going to be backsplashed with the brand new tile all the way back here around that outlet. And then we got a brand new tile for this. We got a brand new tile for this room. We got a brand new tile for this one, all matching, of course. And then obviously where this is protected, this is all staying. So stay tuned, enjoy the project. owned this house for about 8 years, and I've finally decided to sell it. And so now I'm essentially turning it into a flip. And we're making excellent progress, but in every single project, in every single renovation, especially when you're doing, a lot of square footage and, from basically frame to finish, every project gets to this point where like you're so close to the finish line, but there's so many small little items that just keep stacking up, and like there's just a lot, right? And it can be overwhelming. And so that's the stage we're in right now. We are like so freaking close, and every day it feels like we are making absolutely no progress whatsoever. But we actually are making a lot of progress. It's just not super visible. And, there's still a lot of things to do, like get a plumber over here and patch up drywall before we can actually put this thing on the market. But we are very close, right? Everything's painted. We got all the base trim. And it just gets to this point where you're like exhausted and overwhelmed and like kind of fearing how your budget is being affected. And yeah, this is a hard time in the project cycle, and that's where we are right now. So I'm actually really happy to let you in on that, and I want to show you that. I want to show you that this is difficult, and this is the most challenging part of it right here, right now. It's not all the like, time-lapse tile work, although that stuff is very difficult. It's not the most challenging mental aspect of remodeling. It's like all these little things that just like, they stack up to weeks of work. Really, the little stuff, but I'll just take you around, and I got a lot of stuff covered, right? So we're protecting all of our work. We got a lot of things organized to get out of here. And yeah, I got all the new lighting done. This is going to be insane. And this tub and tile finish really worked. I would have loved to have done a whole new shower here, but we just don't have time and money for that. So we did this like Rust-Oleum tub and tile refinish kit, and it turned out so good. The stuff is pretty hard to work with. Very specific instructions on how to use it. Definitely like make sure you use it right. It's extremely toxic. It's extremely dangerous. Like you want to have proper PPE when working with it. It's just pretty gnarly, but something that like I'm really stoked on is that we were actually able to redo all the floors up here in this project. And it's something that, we had this old, really terrible carpet. It's something that when I started, I was like, if we have time, we should do it. And it only cost me about $1,000. It only cost me about $1,000 in materials. It's probably actually $1,100, including all of the base trim and the paint and the caulking. But $1,100 out of my pocket for these floors, not bad. Not bad. I had to call in some favors to make that happen, but the fact that I was kind of in the back of my mind, like, we might not get to that. And if we get to that, we get to that. And here we are, and it turned out so good. It turned out so good. I'm so happy with how that turned out. So, yeah. Anyway, enjoy the flip, enjoy the remodel. Like I said, I'm going to take you through all of the financials, all the numbers, because, you know, I know, like, I haven't interacted with many of you on YouTube yet, but I do know that that's intriguing. Like, it's a part of why I watch some flippers on YouTube, and it's a part of what intrigues me about it. It's like, how much can I make? And like, the thing is that there are a lot of flippers, you know, out there, and they've all been trained to, you know, use lots of debt and leverage outsourcing work. And I totally understand those scalable strategies, and I'm just not in a place to implement those types of strategies right now in my life. So I'm working with the resources that I have, right? I don't have access to debt right now because my credit score sucks, but I do own this house, right? I can scrap up a couple grand here and there and like get some materials and, you know, put some time in. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, like, I'm a little bit behind on my mortgage payment right now. And it's because I'm using the money that I have to buy materials and do things. So it's a little stressful, you know, it's a little scary. Like, my credit score is suffering, and, you know, but it was already suffering as is. It's like, you know, these are conscious sacrifices that I'm having to make right now to get myself ahead. So, you know, and I just feel like a lot of flippers, they don't really share that part of it, right? It's all just like debt and leverage and, you know, all these like really high leverage skills. And these are all like, I'm learning how to wholesale real estate right now. I'm actively learning how to do that. And like, that's a great skill, but I don't have time to actually cultivate it right now. I don't have time to do it. I don't have any money, and like, I gotta get this house off of my balance sheet. I have to get this liability off of my books. So essentially, like I said, I'm just working with the resources. I'm working with what I have. So that's what I'm doing here. You know, hey, maybe the pro expert flippers might talk shit on me because I can't afford to hire an entire construction crew. But you know what? I think that it's more helpful for you, most of the audience seeing this, to actually see some of the struggle behind, like I said, the sacrifices that I'm taking right now to hopefully maybe put myself in a position where I don't have to do all the work anymore, right? Or maybe something else happens, right? But like, you know, the fact of the matter is that real estate and flipping and this stuff, it's super, super high risk, super risky endeavor. And like, I don't know, for me, the way that I can mitigate that risk is just by doing the work myself. I take, you know, more pride in my work than, you know, most people will, because I own the house, right? I want it to look super nice. I have a vested interest, right? Like, the better it looks, the more money I can make. So yeah, here we are. Enjoy the flip, and I'll break down the numbers at the end. So yeah, let me know what you think, and enjoy.